We begin tonight with Philippine health officials scrambling to keep out a new coronavirus threatening to become a global pandemic. But they are confident that they have enough protocols in place in the country's ports and airports to keep the threat under control. We have live from the NAIA Terminal 1 News 5 correspondent Ria Fernandez. Ria.
Bok, the health department has finally tracked down 4 family members of a 2019 novel coronavirus patient quarantined in Hong Kong. They are now being monitored despite the absence of symptoms of the virus. It was past 1:30 p.m. on Wednesday when Cebu Pacific Flight 5J111 from Hong Kong touched down at NAIA Terminal 3. Hong Kong authorities confirmed that among the passengers were 4 family members of a Chinese national diagnosed with the 2019 novel coronavirus. The Philippine government was able to trace his kin.
Walang sakit sila. So wala namang need for us to do any tests on them or to admit them or to hold them in isolation.
Passengers of the Cebu Pacific flight were screened by the Bureau of Quarantine, with no one held for further observation. Meanwhile, a Filipino flight attendant coming from Wuhan, confined for cough, was already discharged. She placed herself under self-quarantine while the DOH awaits for her test results. Passengers from China are now strictly required to undergo disinfection.
To check if you had a fever, I think everyone was just wearing like a mask just to make sure.
Pa-landing na po, nag-announce po yung mga cabin crew na may i-spray daw po yung pero hindi ko siya na kung ano talaga yung ni-spray na yun eh. Pero parang sinasabi nila sa health daw yun, yung ni-spray na yun. Tapos pagbaba dito na sa yun na nga po, yung ini-scan po. About sa bad temperature.
The DOH said the nCoV is not as deadly as SARS and MERS.
What we see now with the nCoV, with the 2019 nCoV, is it's not fatal. No? I mean, for most patients, it's not fatal. There have been a report of 17 fatalities out of more than 540 cases. So the strategy now of WHO really is to make sure lang that when it does spread and when it happens, that we are able to isolate.
The agency, together with the Civil Aeronautics Board, the Bureau of Quarantine and airline representatives, decided to suspend all flights from Wuhan, China. 2 airlines currently service direct flights to Wuhan, Pacific Air and Royal Air.
We will continue to monitor the situation in coordination with the Department of Health regarding the other cities in China. And we will act as may be warranted by the situation.
Inbound and outbound flights from mainland China and other countries reported to have cases of coronavirus have not been halted. Strict screening of passengers is still in place.
They have developed standard practices already in terms of the airline doing screening, doing documentation, and other records keeping system.
Bok, our authorities are studying the possible implementation of travel restriction in virus-hit areas. But according to Civil Aeronautics Board, for now, all chartered flights from Wuhan, China will be banned. Bok?
Ria Fernandez reporting live from NAIA. Thank you, Ria. The virus scare prompted Senator Francis Tolentino to propose a bill creating an Office of the Surgeon General. If enacted, this body will serve as the national spokesperson on all matters relating to public health. Tolentino says this will boost the health information drive in the country. As an attached agency of the Health Department, it will be responsible for publishing bulletins on public health issues, hazards, disease outbreaks, and natural disasters. The Health Department says that there are still no confirmed cases of the novel coronavirus in the country as it awaits test results sent to Australia from the 5-year-old boy who is visiting from Wuhan City, China. Gemma Bansenya with the details.
The 5-year-old boy, initially thought to be the country's patient 0 of the new coronavirus, may soon be up for discharge. The kid, who hails from the virus origin in Wuhan, tested positive for coronavirus. But in his surveillance examination Thursday, the child tested negative for 2019 nCoV.
The boy is currently stable with no fever, cough, and other signs or symptoms associated with the 2019 novel coronavirus observed in Wuhan. The boy is still confined and under isolation. While awaiting for the test, we sent out to Research Institute for Tropical Medicine.
But he's not in the clear yet. The DOH is still waiting for the results of his confirmatory test from Australia.
The sample is now in Melbourne, in Australia. Depending on the laboratory, we expect results within 24 to 48 hours. So ang pinaka-early would probably be by tomorrow afternoon.
Should he test negative, that's one problem off of the health department's shoulders. But the kid's case exposes another dilemma: the inefficiency of thermal scanners, including those at the Cebu International Airport, in detecting the carriers. This was precisely the case of the kid and his mother, who left the airport undetected, even reaching their lodging in Cebu.
For this particular case, unfortunately, fortunately we reviewed the BOQ camera thermal scan, and when they passed the thermal scan, they were actually negative for fever. So, both of them? Yes. So wala siyang fever. But the child was feeling sick na in Guangzhou pa sila. Thermal scan is enough to quarantine. Now, pwede tayo malusutan, as what you mentioned, no, for this particular case. No? That's why we also coordinated with our hospitals.
The patient remains in isolation at the Vicente Soto Memorial Medical Center, where he has been under observation since January 12. He is still waiting for Health Secretary Francisco Duque's clearance for discharge. The DOH remains on heightened alert while waiting for the boy's confirmatory test. For now, authorities remind the public to stop spreading fake news on social media and to be careful in sharing information about the virus. For News 5, Jam Avansania, we are One News.
The Transportation Department is not taking any chances. All airports and seaports are now on tight watch. Airports have already posted public advisories about the Wuhan coronavirus. The Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines has reactivated its communicable disease preparedness procedures. The Manila International Airport Authority says it is in full coordination with the Quarantine Bureau. The Philippine Ports Authority has put in place stricter passenger screening at arrival areas. The Coast Guard is also on high alert status. In China, where the new coronavirus is believed to have originated, 2 cities have been placed under lockdown. Public transportation in Wuhan has been reportedly suspended, while people have been told not to leave the city. Hours later, state media in neighboring Huanggang said it is also imposing a similar lockdown. The move comes as the death toll from the outbreak has risen to 17. That's out of more than 500 confirmed cases. Outside China, Thailand has confirmed 4 cases, while Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, and the U.S. have reported 1 each. The World Health Organization, for its part, is set to decide today whether to declare a global emergency, extending its emergency talks. In the meantime, the WHO Director General said that China's actions are very strong.
We stress to them that by having a strong action, not only they will control the outbreak in their country, but they will also minimize the chances of this outbreak spreading internationally.